Hey guys, thanks for watching and welcome to episode 15 of Raising Junior. So as you remember, in the last episode we finished off some little bits and bobs of welding we had to do. So now it's time to start preparing the car for the final paintwork. In order to have a good result and a nice finish, we have to prepare the bodywork with some body filler. A lot of you might think it's not the way of doing it, but a lot of professional restorations require body filler, as it's one of the best and easiest options to work with. So in this process we're just going to smooth the body and get the lines as best we can. We're not going to do any repairs. As you saw in the previous episodes, we used many new panels, and we won't be building any panels out of body filler, just using a thin skim to smooth out the paintwork as much as possible. So the other options not to use body filler are to use lead or metal planishing. I didn't opt for the other two, as applying lead is quite poisonous, and I don't have a well ventilated area, and the car would need a lot of lead. And metal planishing, we just don't have the skill to reach that level, and it would take a lot longer to finish the whole bodywork to a metalwork finish. So now we're at the stage of preparing the body before paint. So as an example, we're going to take this panel, we're going to add the body filler and then prime it. This would be an example of how we're going to do this process on the rest of the car. So now that we've prepared the surface by cleaning all the paint and surface rust, we're just going to wipe the panel with some thinner for the body filler to bond better. The body filler we're using on this project is this one, made by Word. We found it's good quality and quite easy to sand. Always follow the instructions when working with these chemicals. However, we did note that we might need to add more hardener on colder days, just for the body filler to set more quickly. So after many hours of sanding, we're ready to give the first coat of primer on this panel. We're going to go from the pillar all the way to the bottom of the quarter panel and on the sill. So the red paint you will see applied in the video is this one. It's a primer made by Forge. It is quite good quality and recommended by a lot of painters, so we went for this. The paint in the tin is the one we put in the spray gun, and the aerosol is used for some small touch-ups. After the panel has fully dried, I'm going to pass it one other time with a finer grade of sandpaper. So first we started shaping the filler with 80 and 100 grit. This time we're going to take the 120 just to uncover the high spots and low spots. So as you can see here, there is like some higher spots which showed us the white area where the filler is, and as we're filling, you can see where the high spots are. The advantage of the finer sandpaper is that it shows with good definition where the high spots are. So maybe this area might need some attention. So after painting the outside surface in primer, we turned the bonnet over, and we're going to pay attention on the second side, on the inner side. So from the factory, the car has this kind of rubberized insulation, which at first I thought I could use, but just touching it gently it's coming off and peeling, so it doesn't have a strong bond. So we'll just peel it back and then we'll see how we can replace it with some kind of new material. Glad we took the extra time to remove this insulation, as underneath probably it wasn't painted and there's like some rusty spots here that can be cleaned up easily. So if we just painted over the tar, we wouldn't have reached these areas here. So the rust converter did a good job of blackening out the rust spots here. So this will stop the rust from continuing to spread. At the same time, we also clean the rest of the metal, so there's a good bond for primer. So here we're preparing the surface and this curve, and this was the area where we welded the new rear valence, so it wasn't perfectly flat. So we're preparing it using filler as usual, and what we're going to use to sand it is this piece of wood. So usually we use a flat piece, however here we have this curvature that helps it match the radius of the valence. At the same time, when we sand in diagonal motion, it will leave a flat surface. So when the paint is still drying, it's still glossy. However, once it dries, it becomes matte.